Najważniejsze transmisje sportowe masz teraz na wyciągnięcie ręki. Pobierz darmową aplikację TVP Sport. Link znajdziesz w opisie.
So, Justin, thank you for having me and joining for this conversation. We are obviously waiting for another banger of you, and I guess there's not so many stylistic matchups that this one that couldn't provide even bigger fireworks, right?
Oh yeah, I guarantee this is definitely one of the most anticipated fights amongst UFC fans.
I wanted to ask you because I watched a few of your interviews, also another materials, and I've got some quote from Trevor Whitman when he said that you had in your previous fights, you had sometimes a little bit too much fun. So I was wondering if that's some hint of maybe a more calculated Justin Gaethje approaching.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can look back at the Tony Ferguson fight when there was no crowd, and I fought a masterclass of a fight. You know, I was not influenced by anything outside of the cage, and that's the biggest factor for me. I cannot be influenced. I have to stay calm, emotionless, and just be dangerous at all times.
Okay.
No mistakes.
Okay, so does it mean that when you are fighting with the crowd, when the people are roaring and they are bringing you to another level, but also another level of risking?
Yeah, I think that can happen. I think that has happened in the past, but I think there's also times when like in Madison Square Garden, I did not let it affect me at all. Mm-hmm. So you really just have to put yourself in that position so many times leading up to these fights and make sure that that's not a factor.
I see. A few months ago, I guess, I think that was July or June, you said that you were around about 2-3 fights from title shot. So now after a few months, seeing how the things at lightweight are playing out, what do you think? Do you still confident that you need 2-3 fights?
I think 2 fights. I think though, I win this fight on Saturday night, and that puts me in a position to fight either. I think Dariush is going to beat Oliveira, so I think I'll have to fight Oliveira or Dustin Poirier. Poirier's sitting at number 2, Oliveira's number 1. So yeah, those will be the fight that gets me into a for sure title shot.
Okay, and if you could see either of these matchups, which rematch do you want to have more?
I guess I don't really prefer either or. I mean, I want both of them back. Both of the guys beat me, and so each one will be sweet in its own way.
Mm-hmm, I see. When I was watching UFC Embedded or UFC Count, Embedded, the first one this week, Rafael Fizievem said that he can't enjoy London too much when he has that kind of opponent in his mind coming on Saturday. So what are your thoughts of London and fighting in Europe?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been staying, kind of out of the city, just trying to, stay relaxed. I have a big fight on Saturday, and, every night we're getting in hard workouts and just trying to stay focused the whole time that we're here.
But you found some time to go shopping, as I may guess. And
yeah. On Sunday, we went down to check out London, saw a couple tourist sites. We drove by Big Ben, drove by Parliament, drove by MI6. So it was cool to see the architecture of the city.
Mm-hmm. But my question is, did you eventually let Kamaru Usman pick the outfit for you for the press conference?
No, I did not. We have very, very different styles, and I have a deal with Hugo Boss. Mm-hmm. I'm going to some of their clothes, so I already have an outfit picked out.
I see. Of course, Kamaru is also having another banger on this card, and Trevor said that the biggest stories are not how you fall, but how you get up. And I guess that might be a kind of motto both for you and for Kamaru during this fight camp, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time. We both grew up wrestling. Sometimes you lose matches in the first round, second round. You have to come all the way through the consolation bracket, and you have to kind of forget about the previous one. So yeah, you have to be perfect. And that's what we're both planning on being.
Mm-hmm. You've had that kind of situations in your history before, and almost every time, except Eddie Alvarez fight, you could come back with a great fashion. First time after Dustin Poirier, you knocked out James Vick in first round. Then you had, after fighting Khabib, you had Fight of the Year contender. So is it some kind of source of confidence for you that you can pull it out another time?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we've been doing this since we were kids. You know, I've never stopped believing in myself and in my skills. Sometimes it doesn't work out for you. You know, I wish we could all be perfect, but that's just not the case. And sometimes you lose, especially when you're playing a dangerous game like this. So I certainly have confidence in my ability to bounce back and be successful.
But I'm curious, you've said that you were also, you've been on the same card as Kamaru. So I guess it's great to have such a great guy and a friend during fight camp. But isn't that make fight week more stressful because you are not thinking only about your fight, but also your friend fighting for the title?
I mean, I want him to win, but I definitely, my job is to inspire him to perform. And that's only by being perfect for myself, getting a win and finding a good fight. So that's really all I'm worried about. If I go out there and, have a bad performance, don't give my max effort, I think that might affect him. So I got to be sure to not let that happen.
What do you think personally about Rafael Fizievem? He's been pursuing this fight for so long. He's been calling you out on social media.
Yeah.
Do you like these antics or not so much?
I don't mind. He's doing what he has to do to get his name and get these big fights. So I don't blame him. I was doing the same exact thing as he was doing, talking shit. 4 or 5 years ago.
Do you think that the hype around him is as big as his skills, or a little bit too big, knowing who he faced before?
I mean, he's definitely faced some adversity. Bobby Green kicked his ass in the 3rd round. The longer the fight goes, the more he kind of fades away. And so I really got to just be perfect, not allow him to land his big shots in the 1st round, early in the 2nd round, and then really use my skills to create a lot of damage.
Is it your last title run, may I say? Do you think that there is your last chance, get those 2 wins and fight for the title? Or even if you lose this Saturday, don't give up and try as long as you can?
Yeah, I mean, as long as I feel like I have the skills to be the best in the world, then I will pursue the championship fights.
So you don't plan in the future starting at, for example, 170? It's not an option for you?
No, definitely not the plan.
Okay. What do you think about the things that are going around at lightweight? Were you surprised that Charles Oliveira lost the belt so easily, that Islam beat him so easily?
I mean, I guess it was a little bit surprising, but Makhachev's a great champion. I mean, and awesome on the ground. Same as Beneil Dariush going to fight Oliveira. I think, when you knock him down, you have to follow him to the ground and create more damage. I think that was a big mistake that I made. And yeah, I think, it was surprising, but more surprising was Volkanovski's performance against Makhachev. I mean, that was really surprising.
Do you think that he will come up once again in some future?
Yeah, I think so. But he's going to have to fight one of us if he wants to fight for the title.
I see. So speaking of another fighter who, as you mentioned, Fiziev doing what he has to do, Mateusz Gamrota has been calling you for some time, of course, and he's knocking to the top 5 right now. A few weeks ago, he said that in his opinion, he might fight you in the future, and maybe he will fight either loser of this fight or Beneil versus Oliveira. What do you think about his skills and him facing top 5?
Yeah, I mean, he had a tough ass fight against Turner. Yeah, I think he's skilled. I think all these young guys are young and hungry. It's a dangerous combination. When I win on Saturday night, I definitely will not be fighting someone ranked below me. I'm doing this because this is what I need to do, and after this, I'll fight someone in front of me.
Justin, just for end, I have a quick round of questions when I would like you to ask either yes or no, if you don't mind, okay? First question. If I could repeat this moment, I would drop ground and pound on Oliveira after first knockdown instead of letting him stand up.
Yes.
Yes. The second one. The fact that Islam keeps the belt makes things a little bit more challenging stylistic-wise for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess I will face Conor McGregor by the end of my career?
No.
Okay. My fighting style will make me pay for it for the future, but I can't help it. I love brawls.
No, I've never been knocked out. I've got TKO'd 2 times, never been put to sleep. If you go back and look, there's many fighters that have been knocked out completely, cold more than once, and they're doing just fine.
Fair enough. The next one. If in 20 years I will be considered the most entertaining guy at lightweight history, that would be as precious as the belt.
I mean, I already have a belt at home, but yes.
Okay. Regardless of belts and rankings, I will chase Dustin Poirier. I want this rematch so badly, but we're talking about it, right? Yeah.
I think the championship is more important.
Okay. And the 2 last. My favorite knockout is which one? Barboza. And if I could recommend one of my fights to a new MMA fan, that would be?
Johnson or Chandler?